Ah, that's not your toy. That's my foot. Ah. You little booger. Papa loves his little booger. Yes, he do. Hey, you got toys. I gotta go to work. Yeah, you gotta go to work. Here. You know, it never fails. We get a pet and we spoil them. Yes, we do. We do. Whether they're cats, dogs, birds, it doesn't matter. Even children. We spoil them rotten. We get them things that we know that they're going to love. And yet, what do? They find joy in things that we never even imagined. I got this electronic squeaky mouse. It's a little stuffed mouse that if you touch it, it puts out a squeak. And I got it because it was cute, but also as a training toy for little Clover. Those of you who are new, this is a little kitten that I found abandoned outside. Adopted her, tamed her because she was born a feral cat to a feral cat. Stay here. Hey, Clover. You know what's going to happen if you go to that door. Yes, you do. I got this electronic mouse to teach her to chase mice. Look. Oh, yeah. And that's because her future is outside, not inside. The Voodoo Garden is no place to raise a cat because eventually she's going to find the plants, and the plants can't be safe for her. There's a lot of plants that she can't be near. Well, she is like a tiny nuclear explosion that's going off continuously. Anybody that's ever had a cat from a kitten, you know this. They look at it, everything as an adventure, and that's what she does. I walk in first thing in the morning to water the plants, turn on the lights, make sure everything's cool. I walk in, the first thing she does is runs at me, flies. She didn't crawl up my leg, she runs up my leg, up my shirt, gets on my shoulder, and starts chewing on my ear. I actually had a bloody ear yesterday. I have a little scab right here. That's lovely. Yeah. Well, I actually have little red marks, scratches, and pinholes all over on my knees, my legs, my arms, my hands. Yeah, I look like a domestic violence victim, and I am. I am beaten senseless by a kitten every single day, and I love it. I do. I got to admit, having a kitten is a joy, an absolute joy. But they are a responsibility. I'm not going to go into that today. Today's about plants, but I wanted to show you because you're going to be seeing this thing running all over the place. But we buy them all these wonderful toys. Her favorite toy is my foot, my hand, and my ear. Yes. And by the way, I wanted to give you an update on that. Rascal, my joy, my life, my companion for life, he loves this kitten. Yes. Rascal, the chaser of cats, the protector of everything, the killer of mice. I introduced him to the kitten under an incredibly strict supervision. And he didn't know what to make of her. But I watched him because, you know, all it takes is 1 second. I watched him, and there is a command for him. It's called be nice, which means back off. And I had to use that command a lot. Well, it's been 2 weeks now, and he comes into the room, and he loves her. I'm going to eventually get some footage of this, but he comes in, first thing he does is he eats her food because, you know, he's Rascal. That's what he does. He eats her food. She's okay with that. She's batting what should be his tail, his little nub. He wags his nub. She beats the heck out of it. She arches up, jumps sideways, and he walks around sniffing her butt. And then she runs, and he chases after her, and then he sits down, she runs around him, she arches. Yeah, that's how they play. They don't actually physically roll around, but she likes him. She likes him, and he likes her. So, yes, people who told me that Rascal would learn to like this cat, and I didn't believe you, mea culpa. Yeah, he definitely likes her, and she loves him. So hopefully this bond that they're forming will last when she becomes an outdoor cat. She'll actually come up and greet him, and that'll be kind of nice. Well, anyway, she's got all these weird toys over here, and hopefully she's going to play. Well, I do the programming, but that can't be guaranteed. Today's program, oh, by the way, I forgot. I like to say this every time when I start the program, but I'm kind of preoccupied. Welcome to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I am the host of the Voodoo Garden, and this is Clover, my adoptee kitty that I found outside, and a temporary co-host in the Voodoo Garden. We are going to be hosting today, and today's program is about bush or tree. Which is it going to be? And also, maybe I might just throw in a couple updates on some plants you've been asking about because, yeah, things are happening. Even though I'm spending most of my time enjoying the company of this little fireball, I have been caring for the plants as much as I possibly can, and there are some changes. So without any more babbling on, we're gonna, look, jazz hands. I got you good. Go play. All right, I'm gonna start with China Doll. China Doll is first up on the list. I guess I should first introduce China Doll. This is what a China Doll plant is. It's a beauty. No matter how you look at it, whatever angle you look at it, it is a beautiful plant. Shiny leaves, naturally shiny. You know, a lot of plants don't have this kind of natural shine. They're very delicate, soft leaves, yet they do have a natural shine. And this plant, although you don't find them very often in a nursery or greenhouse setting, when you do, I suggest you grab one because they have a reputation of being a little difficult to grow. And I don't know why they have that reputation, because I have found these to be an absolute joy. And they do grow. They're growing fast. This one, I got in a little teeny tiny pot. It was only about maybe, I don't know, 6 inches tall when I got it. It's now 2 feet from the soil level, at least 2 feet, maybe 2.5. They tend to grow as a bush, but in nature, yes, these do grow out in nature. In the wild, not around here. Not around here they don't. But they are considered a tree. Yes, they grow tall. I don't know, 30, 40 feet, something like that. We grow them as a bush. You cannot have this growing as a tree in your house. Or can you? I'm going to start with this. It's got all the new starts coming out of the bottom. I didn't prune this. I didn't do anything. What I did was I just let it grow naturally. And what happened is 2 of the pieces in here, you know, there's many new things coming out all over the place. 2 of them dominated it, and they grew taller. And those are the 2 central leaders that are forming the canopy. Everything underneath it is kind of shaded. So it grows a little bit slower. It doesn't die because they can grow in shade. It just tends to slow it down. Now you can also thin these out. You can prune them. You can do anything you want, because if you snip off the China Doll, it will put out suckers and grow. And I'm going to show you that. Because I didn't do it, but this is what happens naturally. But you can also force it if you want to keep it shorter. Like I said, 30 to 40 feet, not in your house. So you do want to keep these pruned back, and that'll keep them bushy. Pick and choose which parts of it are going to live and which ones are going to go, so you can keep it thinned out and not too clustered. They do love rich, well-drained soil. As you can see, it grows well in rich, well-drained soil. A potting mix with a little bit of compost mixed in, absolutely perfect. Now, one thing I want to stress, allow that soil to dry out between waterings. China Dolls do not tolerate wet soil, and they're not going to argue with you about it. They're just going to flat out drop dead if you keep them too wet. So let it dry out, give it a good soaking, let it dry out. Give it medium bright light, not a problem. This is Little China Doll's twin. Little China Doll's twin isn't mincing any words. Little China Doll's twin wants to be big, and it is going crazy. Underneath the light, this one's never seen regular daylight. It's only seen the LED lights that I have in the Voodoo Garden. This one has got 1 trunk, because I cut every single thing out except for 1 trunk. Now this is just all old leaves that I prune off, and some mushrooms that grow in here from the compost that I put in. Everything that grows at the bottom I snip out. I got to re-snip all of that stuff. I let 1 leader go up, and they do grow straight. That's the nice thing about them. They don't go vining all over the place. They do grow straight and true. Now, as it grows, I notice inside, and I've been cutting these off, but I wanted to let a few of them grow so I can show you. These are the suckers, which are nothing more than growing tips, just like, you know, tomatoes and peppers. These will eventually grow and fill in the plant as it goes. Now, if you're going to grow this as a tree, I would recommend keeping them out until the tree gets to a point where you want to allow it to bush out. So for this one, I want it to get at least 3 to 4 feet tall. This is going to be an indoor plant. I want it to be 3 or 4 feet tall with just a trunk. So what I'm doing is I remove the leaves. Yes, the leaves, the suckers, everything as it's growing until it gets to 3 feet tall. I'm not going to do it now, but as it grows, I take off a couple at the bottom. It grows a little bit more at the top. I take a little bit more at the bottom. And then I'm going to allow it to send out those suckers at the top, and it'll form a huge canopy. That's the plan. And if you stay tuned in the Voodoo Garden, you're going to see this as time goes on. It's a full-time job. I'm trying to film, I'm trying to earn a living here, and the cat keeps escaping and running amok in the house, which she just absolutely cannot do. But with the dragon tree, the preferred method is to have this long, graceful, sometimes bending trunk, and then have a display of leaves on top. Naturally, the leaves will die towards the bottom, and here's one that has died. You pluck them off. Now, when you remove the leaves from a dragon tree, I've mentioned this before, I'm going to show it again. You take the leaf firmly, hold onto the plant, and just pull downwards real quick. You don't have to cut the leaves off, just pull them. And they will come off very easily. How many you pull off, that's up to you. But I suggest that you leave an area of leaves at least 4 inches at the top, minimum 4 inches. Everything else can be pulled off at the bottom. Now, as you do that, what's going to happen is the trunk is going to toughen up, kind of green right here because it's still growing. Remove the leaves. As it grows, the trunk tends to be a little woodier. See? It's turning a little woodier. It's hard to see with the backlighting, but I'm going to go over here so you can see this. See? And as this one was very small when I got it, yes it was. And it's getting bigger and bigger. These will grow as high as your roof, as high as you want them. They can take full sunlight, medium light. They don't like dim light. They do not like it at all. And if you do get one that has a really thin stem and is really tall, that generally means it's not getting enough nutrition, but more than likely not enough light. My suggestion is to, when you first get them, put them in some medium bright light and pull off the leaves that you want. Make sure they have rich, well-drained soil. They do need to dry out between waterings. They don't mind being root-bound as long as you have good soil. To the tomato, this is the Prax cherry that I started, and I showed you in the last program how part of it fell over. It snapped, and it didn't kill it. No, it didn't. Right over here on the right side, I'll show you. That's the same thing that you saw fall over. It's still loaded with tomatoes. Yeah, it really is. And they're starting to ripen. Yep. Yeah, we got them all over the place. I'm about to harvest them, but I wanted to make sure I had enough red ones so that I could squeeze the seeds out and ferment them to save the seeds. I can't do it with just a couple of them. I need to have more than a few. Well, what happened was while I was waiting, the rest of the plant fell over. Yes, it did. And right behind this cluster of tomatoes that I really do wish I could eat, but I got to squeeze the seeds out first. You can see it's got some damage. That's where it split and both sides fell. Yep. And it isn't hurting it at all. Nope, it's still growing and it's still having a good time. As long as you keep them fertilized and keep them under some bright light, these plants do wonders. It will not be stopped. No, it won't. And it's actually starting to compete with the elephant in the room. This is it's called an air potato. I've shown you this from the very start when it was just a wee young'un, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. Eventually, it's going to cover the Voodoo Garden and it's going to eat me. I just know it's going to do that. It grew up towards the light, and then it hit the ceiling. Now, I thought I was just going to grow it along the wall, and I did for a while. I grew it along the wall right over here. Well, this went to the edge of the wall, and then it went around. Now, I turned off some of the lights, so it's hard to see. I have to turn off some of the lights, otherwise I'll roast in here with the door shut. But this vine that's going along the wall, and it actually, last night, it found the cirrus, the night blooming cirrus. I don't know what's going to happen over here. I don't want to get involved, but the cirrus is holding its own. Hopefully one of these days we're going to have a flower, and if it blooms at night, I'll come in here, I'll turn the lights on, get the daylights out of it, click a picture, and then turn the lights right back off. But I thought it was going to grow around the wall, but then I thought, you know what? It's so, I don't know, it is very aggressive. And when it gets a hold of this cirrus, it might just strangle it. So I think I'm going to move that vine. It's over 12 feet long. That is one single vine. What I've done is, the other vines, I've trained them with hooks along the ceiling. Now, what happens with the potato, and this is a potato, air potato, it starts out with these real itty-bitty leaves. It doesn't look like much, but look at the vine. As you go back towards the mother plant, they're getting bigger and bigger. It grows so fast, the leaves can't keep up with it in size. It sends out the vine. Now, all these leaves on the ceiling are eventually going to end up as big as a dinner plate, just like the rest of it. So I will keep you updated on that. I think what I'm going to do is just have the ceiling covered with the air potato and then the other stuff vining regularly. So that's my plan. Plans do tend to change because I have so many things going on in here, I really don't know what to do. And the watermelon growing in the Voodoo Garden is starting to flower. It doesn't have any little melons behind the flowers. These are the male flowers that are coming out first. I have no idea if it's going to produce watermelons, and I'm sure if it does, they're going to they're going to be pea-sized watermelons because it isn't getting the light that it normally gets outside. But yeah, it will eventually, hopefully, produce watermelons, and we'll have a little watermelon party here in the Garden of Voo. You remember Tiny Groot? Yeah, the empty-headed little planter that I had in here? Well, in his head was a little spider plant. Remember that? That was his little hair? Well, his hair outgrew his head. And this is the spider plant that used to grow in his head once I transplanted it into some soil. It multiplied. Spider plants will do that. See? They will multiply in a pot. You just plant one of them in there and it turns into many. It's going to flower. It's going to send out shoots all over the place. They don't mind being root bound as long as you give them good quality soil or feed them compost tea, and also let them dry out, water them, dry out. They do not like to be kept moist all the time. They grow better if you don't. I actually didn't mean to show you the spider plant. I came over here to show you the strawberry. Yeah, I have a strawberry plant, a regular strawberry plant growing in the Voodoo Garden. I brought it from outside this spring. I tossed it in a pot, and it liked it. It's not looking that great, the mother plant, but then again, the mother plant, she has a family now. She has this one. It's starting to grow little roots at the bottom, and she's got another one, and she's got another one, and she's got another one, and another one. That vine is about 4 feet long with babies, and that's only one of her arms. She has another one here with babies growing, and she has another one here with babies growing. I have to keep it out of reach of little kitty scissor hands, otherwise the cat will just rip it to shreds. Everything has to be up on stilts. So I'm running out of pots, by the way, and so hopefully she'll be going out in the chicken coop. I have a fenced in area for her over there, and that way these plants will survive to see another day. Uh-oh, she's crawling up my leg. Hold on. Yeah. How you doing? Doing okay? Why don't you eat Daddy's hand while I say goodbye to our friends. She actually likes this. I put her in my hand and I rock her back and forth, and she bites my hand while I do things. This is the only way I can get any peace in here while I'm in the Voodoo Garden. The life of Ray, but it's a good life. It's a good life, definitely. I want to thank you for joining me for this very short tour and demo. I have so many things going on that I don't have as much time to spend in the Voodoo Garden that I would love to, but I do come down here, even though she is kept in the Voodoo Garden. She has a litter box, she has food, she has water, she has all the toys and love in the world. I come down 4 times a day, just me, and I spend an hour each time with her, and we play, we enjoy life. It's a good day. Yes, it is, in the Garden of Voo. So eventually she won't be here, so I want to just show her off while I can. You'll be seeing her on the Praxis 55712 channel once she goes outside. For right now, she's Voodoo Garden property, and she is loving it, little Voodoo Kitty. Yeah. Anyway, like I was saying, I do want to thank you for joining us for this short program, and I will see you next time here in the Voodoo Garden. Until then, this is Ray and little Kitty Scissorhands. We're out of here, aren't we? Kind of out of here? Yeah? How about if I bite you? I'll bite you. Yeah. Yeah. See? That's how it feels.